everyone, this is Sally. I am from the Philippines, meaning I am Filipino. Alright, well, I used to be an ESL teacher in China, though I am still am an ESL teacher. Alright, but I'm now home here in the Philippines for good. Alright, so yeah, so how many of you have been to China? Have you been to China? So probably some of you have been to China, and probably there are some of you who are thinking to go to China someday, all right, or maybe another country someday. Well, for me as well, I never thought that one day I would be working in China. I was actually thinking to go somewhere, but I went to China. You see that? I was also thinking to just stay in China for a year, and then I ended up staying there for many, many years. Alright, so why is that? It is because when I was in China, well, I discovered that China is actually a very, very beautiful country. Like, there is so much to discover. When you jump from one city to another city or one province to another province, you realize that they are simply unique from each other. Totally. Even the people, most of the people, did you know that in China, there are like 50 plus nationalities, different kind of people. So they have their own dialects, they have their own group of people, and also just a lot of things, especially the food. You would really appreciate that. They have their own food, So, but anyway, I cannot wait. I am going to share to you all of those that I have enjoyed when I was in China. So, if you notice, like I mentioned a while ago, I love traveling, and I believe that a lot of you also love traveling. And what do you do when you travel? Isn't it that when you travel, you gotta buy something? Well, for me, I love to take pictures when I travel. But taking pictures isn't just enough, because sometimes these pictures will just be in your computer. So I also love to buy a souvenir, anything. It's either one or two from that area, just for me to remember that place. See that? It will help me reminisce whatever I have seen or that travel. You see that? So okay, so when I went to China, actually I went there as ESL teacher, right? So I used to work with schools, with students from kindergarten, elementary students, and even university students. So, if you notice all these things that I have, actually I have a lot more, but I just picked some. See that? I picked some. Some of them are presents coming from my friends, from my students, from my school, and some of them I bought them myself. And then I was able to bring them home. The others, I wasn't able to bring them home, but I'm so glad I was able to bring all these things. So I was actually thinking this morning as to what am I going to share to my friends out there. And I was like looking at my house, and I said, there's like a lot of things here. It would be great to talk about these things with them. So there, I was able to, I got some here to share with you guys. So are you ready, guys? Are you ready? Okay, so I believe you guys are ready to listen to my stories. Okay, so here, if you try to take a look at this, it's a plate. Okay, actually this came from a university that I used to work. It says here, Liaoning University of International Business and Economics. So I got this one, when I was about to leave my university. They gave me this, and I just love it so much. It's like I've been here for like many years, so it would be proper to, at least I have something in remembrance of my, my many years of stay in that university. All right, so I love this one so much. So until now, I'm really, really careful with this. It's actually a very, very big university where I used to work with so many foreign teachers as well, that coming from different parts of the world, different countries. So it was a wonderful, shall I say, memory to still have this thing with me. Alright, so what about my travel? So like I said a while ago, every holiday, that was like our chance to hop into a plane and go to another place to visit. Alright, so what else do I have here? Well, if you would see this one, check this out. Dan, da, da, dan. One of my favorite things that I got when I went to China. Okay, Beijing, I should say. When I went to Beijing, you know, have you heard of Peking Opera? Peking Opera, yeah, we went there and we watched this presentation, and I've seen people wearing this kind of costume. You know, they have this amazing mask, and they could change the mask in seconds. Like, they could wear so many masks. All right, it really is amazing. So I got all these things, and actually I bought a lot. It's just that my friends I gave them to some of my friends. All right, so what do you think of this? Isn't it so special? You cannot find this one in any other place, only in Beijing. All right, so yeah, whenever you think of that music, that it's a very special sound. Probably that's Peking opera. Okay, and not only that, this one. About this thing, it says here Tsinghua University. Did you know that Tsinghua University is one of the best universities in China? You know, we have Peking University and we also have Tsinghua University. Most of the students in China are dreaming to one day study at these two universities. And you know what? One of the parents of my students gave me this one. When he went to Beijing, he got this thing for me because he was like a boss somewhere. So he got this thing for me. He gave it to me and I said, wow, that's Tsinghua University. I would like to have it. All right, so yeah, it's really is amazing. So by the way, like I said, if what is the best university in the Philippines? Maybe University of the Philippines, but over there is Tsinghua University, and you can find that one in Beijing. All right, so that's the main reason why every kid in China, they study so hard. From kindergarten, they study so hard. The parents are pushing them so hard. They bring them to the best schools ever. They even keep moving. They move from one place, one apartment to another apartment. Why? Because when they move to a better community, they could also go to a better school. And when their kid is in a better school, it means to say they have a bigger chance to one day study in, shall I say, these wonderful universities, in the best universities in China. Okay, so next one is this thing. Woohoo! I'm not very sure if you have ever seen something like this. All right, did you see that? Okay, so this thing was given by one of my students in the university. I think, I'm not very sure, was that Christmas or something, but it was a special occasion, or was it my birthday? And then she gave me this. Actually, this is a princess. A long time ago, during the time of, because you heard of dynasties, right? That they have emperors a long time ago. So there was this emperor, and this emperor, well, we know that every time we talk about emperors, they have a lot of, wives and concubines. And this emperor has got a favorite concubine, and this is that person's Princess Yang. Why is that? It is because she's the best in singing. She can dance very well. She can sing very well, and she's just so pretty. All right, she's just so pretty. So this is like so pretty at that time. All right, so it is so beautiful. Well, I don't know much about this person, but I said to my friend, I said to my student, well, because actually they asked me what I like, hey Sally, what do you want? If you're to receive a present from me, what kind of present do you want? And I said, you know what, I like anything that is historical. If it is a part of the history, I actually like that one. All right, because for sure that is something that I can keep, that can go with me in the Philippines, and would be somewhere in my house. You see that? So she gave me this. I don't understand much, but now I understand. Okay, so it stays with me. All right, so what else? All right, and this one. Take a look at this one. Have you ever heard of Confucius? Have you ever heard of him? Yeah, Confucius, I've been hearing about him since high school. And we actually call him Confucius, alright, Confucius. Yes, and he's very well known, he's very famous because of his teachings. So when I got there, actually, I used to live in Dalian, and below Dalian is Shandong province. So I got a chance to go to Shandong by ship, alright? So we went there by ship, and we went straight to the hometown of Confucius. You know what, his hometown was really good. It's a very old hometown, and I could see a lot of big fat trees over there, old trees that actually it was Confucius himself and his, shall I say, apostles or disciples who planted them. So it's really is amazing to see that and to go visit his own house, his own school, and his tomb as well. So when I got there, I saw a lot of people visiting that area too, and I said, what can I buy to remember Confucius? So and I saw this one and I saw Confucius over there. So I said, let me have that. See that? At least one thing to remember, a proof that I went to the hometown of Confucius. Confucius was the one who actually, who made this, what is this saying again? Don't do unto others what you don't want others to do unto you. It was him. Was it him? Yeah. So something like that. And it's a very good teaching, isn't it? All right. And until now, he's still, of course, people still remember him and they respect him so much. All right, so not only that, what else do we have here? One thing I love so much that was given to me by a parent of my student is this thing. This is actually jade. This jade. Yes, this is jade. It's a precious stone. Okay, and then because at times I do have things to check or I do have things to sign sometimes. So she asked me to, she asked my signature at first. So what do you want to do with my signature? What do you need? Just your signature. So I wrote my signature somewhere, and then after a day he came with this. So I don't have to sign, I just have to do this, like a stamp. You see that? It is so special, and I said this is like something that is very, very famous in China. You see that? So, and I like it so much. I haven't used this one for a long time, but it would be nice to actually use this sometimes. So, they know how to give presents. These Chinese fellas, my Chinese friends, are actually very, very thoughtful. They're very sweet. They just kind of observe you as a person, as a teacher, and they will say, oh, I think the teacher needs this one. So usually because of the notebook sometimes or the paperwork, that I need to sign at the end. So they just made my job easier by doing that. Okay, and also, I also got this one. Actually, I have more inside the house. It's just that I cannot carry them all. So take a look at this. It reminds me of the Terracotta Warriors. The Terracotta Warriors. It reminds me of this. Have you ever heard of Xi'an's Terracotta Warriors? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of a terracotta warrior. So I've been hearing this one like for many, many years. I've been there and I was like, they've been telling me that if there's a city that you need to go, where will that be? And I would always say Xi'an, Xi'an, Xi'an. My best friend brought me there. And when we got there, oh my. I really want to show you all these postcards that I got. You remember the Qin emperor, the first emperor, the first Qin emperor. He was, because everybody wants to have long life or something. They always think of the afterlife. And so what this king did was, I don't know if he was crazy or something, but you know what? This was 5,000 years ago when he did that. He already had this idea. He made all these. See that? He asked a lot of people to make all these, and then ask, some people, a lot of people, I think, to make to dig a big hole, and then after that, put a lot of terracotta warriors there. Why is that? This is an example of a terracotta warrior. All right. So why would they do that? They dug, and it was like this. This is now how it looks like in Xi'an. So they dug and they were trying to figure the history how he did it. You see that? Why is that? Because he believes that one day when he dies, he will die with all this, and he will still have his soldiers with him. He will still have these men serving him in the afterlife. So I see that. What kind of thinking is that, isn't it? So when they got this one, when I went there, I realized that these things are actually huge statues. Okay, and this one, of course, I cannot buy a big one. What am I going to do with a big one, right? So we just bought this small thingy here. It's a very small. It almost looks like that one. Okay, so I got one. They have different positions. They have different styles, but this one looks so good. So I am so glad I was able to buy 3 like this. Okay, men in different uniforms. So just think about this one. This was 5,000 years ago. You see that? And they already have this. It means to say that's like an advanced city. That is a developed city at that time. All right. So yeah, I'm so happy. I was so happy when I got there. It is because finally I was able to see that, and I've seen also, shall I say, and of course I was able to buy this book. This book is all about the mausoleum of the first Qin emperor. All right, they made that one as the mausoleum of the first Qin emperor. This is the signature of the guy who actually found out about that area. Okay, he was the one who discovered about that area. I think he was a farmer, and he was just like digging, and then after that, when he was digging, he realized that there was some kind of metal or something inside, and so he asked the authorities to come check it, and then there they were able to find that out. So he is a big help, right, to find that wonderful history of the country. All right, so yeah, I bought this one. This is this is actually the emperor at that time. See that? Very good looking. And all right, so why did I buy all this? It is because I love history, really, and it's easier to explain to things when you have pictures with you, when you have things to show. It is very easy because these things are very hard to describe. You cannot simply describe, you gotta show actually at least a picture. And if you realize, one thing that struck me the most was when they were explaining, my goodness, look at the hairstyle of the people a long time ago. See that? It's very special, considering that this was like how many centuries ago. All right, so I'd like to tell you about this one. It's a very interesting story. If you take a look at this man, after digging, you know, when it's newly dug, okay, you take a look at the color. It's almost the same as the color of a human being, right? But after exposing it to the air for quite some time, it is going to change into something like this. So I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know the explanation regarding that one, but it really is interesting. Not only that, they were able to shall I say, to dig a lot of swords and daggers, something like that, and even chariots. So how amazing is that, right? Chariots, and of course many other things. That's the main reason why. And there are still a lot of things that they had to dig to, shall I say, to discover that area more. Xi'an is a wonderful place. Even I remember even Michelle Obama went to that area. She went to there just to take a look at these terracotta warriors. It really is amazing. All right, so what else did I not show you guys? So traveling in China, like I said, is something fun, really fun, because you know, of course, it's always nice to have a tour guide there for people to explain it to you better. Right, but if you didn't understand, you can always surf the internet and shall I say, have more readings about these ones for you to understand better. And not only that, when you also visit, shall I say, the other side of China, the northern part of China, especially Harbin, Heilongjiang, okay, you would be able to buy this one. This is called babushka. It is actually made in Russia. Because you know what, Russia and China are too close to each other, right? And there are like cities that, you know, actually the Russians from this area can easily travel to China. Same thing with the Chinese people that can easily travel to Russia. That's why a lot of Chinese can speak Russian so fluently. And also a lot of Russians can speak Chinese really well. Alright, so when I went to Harbin, I've seen a lot of stores that is you know, that are full of Russian products, and this is one of their products. So I am so glad that in 2019, we had a chance to go to Harbin, and when I saw babushka, I was able to buy one. Okay, I'm so glad I was able to buy one. So you know, something you can open like this, and we still have. Then you can open again. And then over here, somebody took one from inside. Those kids, eh? Okay, so this is amazing. Okay, only in Russia. This is only in Russia, and I am so glad that I was able to do this. Jongwei. All right, my dog scared me, eh? All right, so yeah. How do you call this again? Babushka. All right, babushka. It is so pretty. All right, so what else do I have here? And of course, not only that. Of course, when you are there, one of the best thing I did actually when I went there was, you know, because China is full of foreigners. A lot of foreigners are there, and they all come from different countries. All right, they all come from different countries. So when I had the chance to meet people, I actually asked, you know, paper money from them. Okay, I usually ask one at least, you know, hey, can we exchange, you know, sometimes something like this, or can I just buy it, something like that. But most of them would simply just give it. So I was able to get all kinds of, shall I say, currency from different countries. We have Vietnam, Norway, what is that? Republica of Mozambique, Nicaragua, something like that. Wow, I'm going to show it to you later. Like a lot. And yeah, this Pakistan is actually given to me. Okay, and of course a lot more. I'm going to show these things one by one later. That's the main reason why it's nice to be very friendly, really. It's so nice to make friends to different kinds of people, because, well, that's how you're going to meet people, and that's how you're going to get all this stuff. It's hard to get this thing if you don't have any friends. Zhongwei! Zhongwei! Enough, please. Alright, well, that's my dog. I don't know. She saw something and she's very, very grumpy. Zhongwei, come here. Just stay with me. Alright? So glad. Even dogs can understand things, right? Zhongwei, come here. Alright, and of course, not only that. You know, sometimes these are too heavy to buy, right? Too heavy to carry with you, so you would buy something else. You know, one thing that, I forgot about this thing. Okay, well, one thing that I had to buy, alright, before coming home was this thing. I made sure I have good chopsticks. You know, we have the wooden chopsticks, right? But we do have this special chopsticks over here. It is so good. This is one thing that, this is one of the first thing that I had to learn when I went to China. Well, we have to eat 3 times a day, isn't it? And when you are new to a country, better be the one to adjust, not them adjusting to you. Alright, you're not going to really go to the kitchen and say, hey, can I have forks and spoons? No, it's not like that. Alright, see what they have and try to learn what they are. Some skills, like how to eat with chopsticks. See that? So this is the first thing I did. I actually got a pair of chopsticks, and then I said I need to practice. The very next day, I'm already eating with chopsticks. So how do you hold chopsticks? You know, there are rules. I use my I hold my chopsticks this way, something like that. See that? So how is this thing? You know, according to them, most of my Chinese friends would say that, you know, if you hold your chopsticks this way, it's very close here. It means to say that most of the time in your life, you're going to be at home. You see that? But if you're going to hold it here, that is so far. Some people hold their chopsticks this way. Alright, it means to say that most of the time in their life, they're far away from home. But if it is at the middle, because I used to hold it at the middle, it says here that sometimes probably you're home and sometimes you're far away from home. It's okay. It's something like that. But I love to eat with using chopsticks, especially noodles, rice, anything, especially when you're eating hot pot or guo. Alright, so yeah, I got a lot. It is because it is nice to have collections. Well, I love collections. Do you? I'm not sure about you, but what do you collect? I like to collect old things. I don't know why people think that sometimes I'm crazy collecting all these things, buying all these things, but actually now I see the importance. Now that I'm not in China and I have all these things, I'm very happy. See that? Because it's actually hard to get all this. I cannot just go to China anytime now, no. But now that I am here and I could still see this stuff, it was like, it feels home. See that? It feels like, you know, yeah, I know you miss the country, you miss your friends. I really miss my friends over there. I was able to make a lot of friends and I miss them a lot. But, you know, knowing that I have all this, you know, it makes me feel better. See that? So yeah, chopsticks. Okay, so actually it's actually okay now, because here in the Philippines there's so many Chinese here, and there are many Chinese restaurants here too, where if you could go, you could also use chopsticks from there. So actually it's all right, isn't it? It's just that it's totally different when you get it from China. All right, so what else do I have here? Well, not only that, you know, in China I was able to buy also fridge magnets. You take a look at these fridge magnets, because these are smaller, all right, very very small, and yeah, they're smaller, but lighter, cheaper too. Okay, so I would like to share with you guys these things one at a time. So I think I need you guys to come closer. I think like you guys to come closer here. Alright, so I think it's much better now, right? Is it much better? Okay, so I'm going to show you examples of fridge magnets. I love fridge magnets. You see those, like even like right now when I open my fridge and I see this one, I feel so happy that I have all this. Okay, take a look at this. It doesn't look like a Chinese building, isn't it? It doesn't, yes. Because this is called Sophia Cathedral. Sophia Cathedral. When I first went to Heilongjiang, Harbin, Heilongjiang, I saw this one and I was like, wow. Actually, that area was a lot of Russians stayed there a long time ago. There were some parts of China now that were actually occupied by Russians before, but now it was occupied by Chinese again. It's owned by China now. So one of the buildings that is still standing there, that is really owned, made by Russians, is this Sophia Cathedral. It is so pretty. I've been there. It is so pretty, and I still have another one here that looks so much just like that. It is, you know, one of the places that people has got to see when they go there. Okay, see that? It looks so Russian, isn't it? So it is so pretty, really. When you go there, you would just be amazed at how they made this thing. So yeah, nobody goes there anymore. No sir, they only like they sell stuff at the middle. I mean inside, or sometimes just the view. People go there in winter because it is really so pretty in winter. Even in summer, all seasons, I think it's okay. But they can do a lot of things around this area. I even saw a lot of people, students, you know, just sitting in front of the building and draw this building. A lot of architecture students. See that? And they're trying to draw this one. It's really is so beautiful. I have a lot of photos near this area. Even like I even asked my friend to vlog in this area. It's so pretty. See that? It means to say that yeah, I'm so glad that you know, even the Chinese government is so protective about this thing. See that? Okay, not only that, of course, Harbin. That is Harbin. Harbin is actually, this one is located in Sun Island, and I've also been to Sun Island. It's an island in Harbin that is also full of Russian stuff. Even the houses there were actually like old houses, and the Russians used to live there. Okay, not only that, if I'd like you to take a look at this. All right, I also have like fridge magnets, the Shanghai. So Shanghai, well, I've been to Shanghai like 4 times. Have you been to Shanghai? Shanghai, so every time there's like a special occasion in Shanghai, I'd go there with friends. All right, and of course, when you think of Shanghai, you think of the high-rise buildings, you know, tall buildings. You think of, well, it's a big city, a lot of people, something like that, and it's developed. The bond, you would see the bond there too. It's just awesome. It's lovely to also go shopping there. So, but I went there during the expo, the World Expo, and every country has got a pavilion. They make a pavilion there, and this is the pavilion of China. All right, so it is really so special, so special. Okay, not only that, 还有吗? 我还有吗? Okay, and of course, I do have, check this out. Ta-da! This is the national animal of China. National animal of China is panda. I mean, how many of you want to go to shall I say, to China? All right, just to see the pandas. Most of the, shall I say, most of the zoos in China now has got a panda. In Hong Kong, I've seen a panda there. I've seen pandas like, in Shenzhen. So they have many. But actually they have more somewhere in the south of China. See, that's so pretty, right? So, yeah, okay. And not only that, I'd like you to take a look at this. Ta-da! What is that? Well, that's not London Eye. It's actually a Ferris wheel that you could find in Tianjin. And Tianjin is a very developed area, city very close to Beijing. Actually, that's just 30 minutes by train, I think. 30 minutes by train. Yeah, the fast train. Okay, so a lot of my students go there just to see this Tianjin Eye. Alright, so it is so pretty. I know there are so many. Chinese actually has got a lot of, shall I say, Ferris wheels now. They are, shall I say, getting bigger and bigger. Alright, okay, so yeah, that's Tianjin. 还有吗? Of course, Hong Kong, right? Hong Kong. So it's very close. Well, it's very easy to go to Hong Kong, especially if you are from China. Okay, so like I said, I have to buy at least 1 or 2 or 3 things from that area before leaving that area. See that peak? I was able to get that, the peak, and was able to see the Buddha. I was able to take the cable cars also when I got there. It was an amazing experience because, like I said, what Hong Kong offers very different from what China offers. I mean, shall I say Beijing or Shanghai. There's always something special in every city. Like when you talk of, shall I say, Xi'an, you think of this, isn't it? Yes, you think of this only. Only you can find the best terracotta warriors in Xi'an. But when you think of Beijing, you think of the Great Wall, you think of the Forbidden City, you also think of this one. Check this out. Call this one Beijing National Stadium. Beijing National Stadium. You remember in 2008, they were the host for the 2008 Olympic Games. It was the first time for Chinese to host Olympic Games. You see that? So, you know, they were very, very excited. They were able to make this wonderful, shall I say, building over here. They call this bird's nest because it does look like a bird's nest, isn't it? And yeah, not only that, this is where they did the Olympics. It's huge. I think it can, I'm not very sure how many people can this accommodate, but it was huge. I was able to go there. I actually go here and also here. You call this one the water cube. The water cube, this is where they do swimming. Okay, so this is actually, you remember Michael Phelps? This is where Michael Phelps won his, shall I say, a lot of medals. Jungwei, come on, my dog again. All right, so it is so interesting because you know, these are very easy to find. Very easy to find. I just had to take the subway. You know, that's the fastest way to go around Beijing. Take the subway, and I was able to go first to this stadium, and then after that went to Water Cube, and it was so much fun. You see that? So until now, these buildings are still here, right? And wow, it is really is. Yeah, every time that there's like a sports competition, they held it in this area. You see that? So you got it. Next. And of course, this is the Forbidden City. Forbidden City. This is where the emperors used to live. Their families used to live. It's very old. The buildings are still very old. I am so glad that they're maintaining it. That some people are really maintaining it. The beauty of this Forbidden City. Forbidden City, or we call it Gugong. You see that? And that's where, when I went there, it's that's where I tried, you know, the queen's clothing, something like that. So males can also try the king's clothing. It's so much fun for rent. Okay, and yeah, because you only understand better when you try them on. Okay, so yep. Not only that, oh, the Summer Palace. I'm not very sure if you've heard about that, but this is the Summer Palace of China in Beijing, and it's really is so pretty. This is where the kings used to stay, used to relax, something like that. That's why we call it Summer Palace. Probably it's the perfect place for them to go in summer. Okay, and not only that, I've got also the, how do you call this one? Tiananmen. Okay, Tiananmen. If you notice, at the middle of the building, you would see, what's his name again? Well, Mao Zedong's face, because Mao Zedong is actually a kind of a hero there, because without him there wouldn't be a Republic of China or something. All right, or yeah, they don't have this kind of government. He fought so hard, all right, to have this kind of government in China. So he's a hero there, and yeah, when I went there, I saw his face over here. So this is where they do the flag ceremonies every morning, I think. Okay, yes. And yep, not only that, of course, yeah, it's still the same thing. Hayoshima. Oh, Hutong. This is in Beijing. When you go to Beijing, you gotta go to Hutong. Hutong is a place where you could see old houses, the old houses in Beijing. I am so glad they did not destroy everything. They kept some old buildings. You see that? And every night, every afternoon, they're selling old stuff from China. Souvenirs where you could buy, and also they're selling all kinds of food, Beijing food in this area. So been there, and it's so much fun to just take a walk around this area every night. So I went there for like yeah, when I went there, and then after that we went back the following night just to go back and buy some souvenirs. Okay, and not only that, Hayoshima Dongshima. Okay, not only that, Copper Building, it is so good. Traveling to China is an amazing experience. It had opened a lot of windows for me, or doors for me. Because of this, I was able to travel also to many different countries. See that? So I am so blessed that I was able to work there. So I didn't just go there like to travel, but I went there to work, and at the same time I had the privilege to travel from one place, from one city to another city. See that? I went also to Shenzhen, to many other cities in there. It's just that, yeah, I wasn't able to, shall I say, I got a lot more actually souvenirs that I could show. It's just that I didn't take them with me. So not only that, even coins. Yeah, I forgot coins. So when you travel, I don't really like spend them all, especially the coins. When I get the coins, I just keep them, because I remember when I was a student, learning, when I was a new, when I was a new teacher and I was trying to teach, it was just simply hard. It's very hard to teach when you don't have them, when you don't have the stuff like coins. You want to show coins, it is so hard. The kids can only imagine. But you know what? If you have something to show, at least they would understand better. Like, yeah, wow. So this is money from different countries. So this is dollars. Yes. So this is, shall I say, from Hong Kong. This is $2, and we also have $10. All kinds of different kinds of coins, something like that. So it's a wonderful collection. I actually plan to, shall I say, keep them in a better place, better area, so that when kids see it, they were like, they appreciate, that every country has got their own coins, and that it has its own value also. All right, so hala hayoma. Like I said, it had opened me a lot of opportunities. Okay, so it is so hard to go around China without this. What do I mean? What do you mean? What do I mean? Well, without knowing how to learn Chinese, without knowing how to speak Chinese. Okay, it is so hard to speak Chinese. The only two words that I was able to understand were 谢谢 and 老师. 谢谢 means thank you. Because every time, people do something to you, never forget to say 谢谢 or simply say thank you. 谢谢, 谢谢你, 谢谢你, something like that. Or 老师, why? It is because all my students would call me Sally 老师. 你好，早上好，Sally 老师 something like that. Okay, Sally 老师 that's teacher. Okay, and it's lovely to hear these things. So I heard that one, and then after that, it's actually hard when you just sit and you just take a book. But my friend bought this book for me. It's called here Easy Travel Chinese. Easy Travel Chinese. Okay, why is that? Easy Travel Chinese. It is because these are very, very useful, especially when you travel. When I travel, I can use them really well. Alright, take a look at this. Wow. A lot of things to learn. Like, of course, I gotta learn how to say these places properly. Like, let's say, for example, Beijing, Hangzhou, Guangzhou, Nanjing, Dalian, Shanghai, Xi'an, Chengdu, Shenyang, Xi'an, Suzhou, Kunming, Guilin, these things. And of course, we also learn some words, some simple words like ni hao. Alright, ni hao ma, how are you? Alright, what else? And simple things that you could really use when you travel. It is so hard to travel, and if you cannot even understand these things, you know, what if you at least you remember words, so that when you hear them, at least you know what they're talking about. Okay, you know, if they need your passport, something or like that, or if they're asking about your name, or they're asking where you come from, or something like that. So these books were actually very, very useful. But you know what? I can only read these books just to remember words. My goodness. Yeah, well, never mind the noise coming from the chicken. You know, I think they're just happy. Alright, so they're my neighbor's chicken, and yeah. And of course, where are we again? Okay, so I'm trying to say that it is very, very important to learn at least Chinese, because you really need them every now and then. Especially when you travel, sometimes when you get the menu, and what if there are no pictures? It is so hard to order food, isn't it? So it is still a lot better if you are able to speak the language, because that way you would going to, shall I say, you can express yourself. You can ask them actually what you want. So for me, what I did was I memorized the numbers first. I had to memorize the number first, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, something like that. That's the first thing that I had to master. Why is that? Because I had to buy things. I usually go to the mall to buy stuff. So when you go there, and you know that they know that you're a foreigner, they might cheat you. You see that? But the thing here is, to avoid cheating, to avoid being cheated, you better know your numbers. Okay, something like that. So when they say 20, or you know, that's 20 RMB. 80, that's 80 RMB. So you see that? So it is really is amazing to know at least your numbers. So now you know. Now you know why it's so important. And not only that, after knowing your numbers, you gotta remember also the name of the things, especially the names of the food, because we eat every day. At least you know how to say chow fan. You know at least how to say rou, which is meat, ji rou, something like that. The chicken meat, or how is that, niu rou, which is beef. Alright, or pork, 鸡肉, something like that. Or if you don't want vegetables, then you would say 蔬菜, or 我要买蔬菜, I want to buy vegetables, I want to buy meat, something like that. Because if you don't know these things, it is really, really hard to move on. Alright, so yeah, I think we're going to continue on later. So something like that. Like what I'm saying to you a while ago, it is so important to talk about places, numbers, most especially food. Okay, like 饺子. If you go to a restaurant, like you have to remember your favorite food at least. For me, I like dumplings. So if I like dumplings, I should at least know how to say 饺子. So when I go there, they would say 你想要买什么? Okay, and you would say, what do you want to order? And I would say 饺子. All right. So you get jiaozi, they know that already. Or what else do you want? Vegetables, 鱼香肉丝, all right, or jiro, something like that. But if you could just, you know, it is so funny. You find yourself really, it is so funny at times if you don't know how to speak in Chinese. But for me, this is what I did. I memorized a lot of words and I tried to communicate a lot with my Chinese friends, with the family of my Chinese friends. Why? And the best people to communicate with, the old people and you know, the little people. Why is that? Because they can speak like really slowly, and they have patience to teach you. They have patience to you know, to speak with you. All right, and yeah, so that's how I learned my simple Chinese. I had to speak with little kids, so yeah, that's how I learned. And not only that, it's very helpful because for teachers, you're going to translate. Like sometimes the kids cannot understand English, so what do you do as a teacher? Translate it to Chinese. See that? Or sometimes when you're teaching, you say, "Hey, what's your name?" 你叫什么名字? Okay, so hey, how old are you? 你今年多大? You see that? I had to translate. I don't need to use a translator at that time because I already know basic Chinese. See that? And of course, it's a lot more. Another way for me to learn Chinese was through, you know, soap operas. You know, they have all these interesting you know, movies and shows on CCTV, and that's what I do. I watch their movies, and that's how I learn and you know, get familiarized with the Chinese words. So that's how I understood a lot of Chinese words, and it's so much fun. My goodness, it is so much fun. A lot of things to talk about, really. And of course, yeah, that's the main reason why sometimes when I travel, I just travel by myself, and I didn't need somebody to travel with me. Unlike when I was like a newbie there, or during my first few years there, I had to always go with a friend. Why? Because I wasn't sure of myself. What if I get lost? Something like that. But this time that I know how to speak Chinese, you're kind of confident. You're confident to go anywhere. You're confident to get inside in a restaurant, and you know that you're not going to get food. You see that? You're confident that you'll be all right, that people can talk to you and you can talk back to them. Then you can even make jokes with the old people. Then when you visit your friend's house, you can have a great discussion with Chinese friends as well. So you see that? So it is really so nice. So what else did I miss? I hope I didn't miss anything. Like I said, I have a lot. Did I show you this? I'm not very sure if I showed you this one. But yeah, this is what I got when I traveled. You know, when you have the chance to, when in China, really, when I was there, like I said, that every holiday I get a chance to like come out from China for at least 7 days or more than 1 week or something like that, and that's like my chance to go around the world too. So here, that's how I got these different currencies from over here. So that's how I got this currency from this one, Singapore, from Malaysia, from Vietnam, from where's that again? From Israel. Oh, speaking of Israel, this is actually called shekel. This is a shekel, and I got a lot of shekels with me. I forgot to change from the, shall I say, from the airport, but it's all right. Okay, before I was just dreaming to have shekels, to hold the shekels of the Jews, but now I have my own shekels. All right, so this is like one of the best memories that I have in China, because being in China gave me the opportunity to visit my favorite country, and that's Israel. When I went to Israel, that was like a very good thing because it was easy. You know, from Dalian, I just went to Beijing, and from Beijing, I flew to, what do you call that, to Tel Aviv. And because of Tel Aviv, I was able to enjoy wonderful things in Israel. And yeah, did I buy something from Israel too? Definitely. I bought something that I will never forget. See that? What did I buy? You know what? When I went to the Dead Sea, it's salted water, right? So you know what? Just near the Dead Sea is just full of salt. Full of salt. So actually, I just put it in this plastic. I didn't even change this plastic. And then I put some here. It's actually salt from the Dead Sea. Try to open that one. So you see that? You can even taste it. Something like that. But this is for me, for my eyes only, and for me to enjoy, for me to always say that, ha, this is from the Dead Sea. And yeah, I was able to swim also. I was able to float from the Dead Sea. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. That's why I'm always grateful having the chance to work in China, because it has opened many, many doors for me. That because of my work in China, while I was able to earn there, I was able to also travel to many different places in the world. See that, which I am very, very grateful. See that? So of course, all these currencies actually is like, you know, I don't want to just put them in a wallet or something like that. You know, it's lovely to actually take a look at them and I say, oh, I've been there. And those were like the currencies, my leftovers that I did not spend. See that? I also have some patakas from Hong Kong, something like that. It's you know, from Thailand. Oh, it is so nice. All right, so yeah, and I have them with me. Sometimes I go crazy as to what am I doing with this money, but you know, I'm just happy looking at all these things. All right, so you know, there's a lot more to talk about. There's a lot more to talk about. This one is like, what do I think about the Chinese people? Maybe you have questions like, what are the Chinese like? Well, you have already an idea because there's so many Chinese in the Philippines, right? It's just that most of the Filipinos, most of the Chinese who are in the Philippines are actually from the south of China, from Fujian, something like that, from Guangdong. They are the Filipinos, the Chinese who are in the Philippines. So yeah, a lot of Chinese are there. Well, it's a huge, huge country. So like I said, there are many different nationalities there. They speak their own dialects too, and there are like two different kinds of big languages that you have. There is either they speak Mandarin or Cantonese. So in the north, they speak Mandarin. They speak very good Mandarin, or they call it Hutongs. In the south, people speak here, they speak, how do you call that, Cantonese. So, or they call it Guangdong. All right, so it's lovely. When you go to the north, they speak very well, very good Chinese. So sometimes actually, when the people from south go to the north to study, you could almost hear that they speak differently. That their Hutongs is not as good as the people in the north. See that? So yeah, actually like that, and people are very different. Most of the people in the north are much taller than the Chinese in the south. When I went to the north, because I live in north, right? When I went to the north, I'm always the shortest person in a room. Always the shortest person in a room, and I can't understand why. Because they're like models, you know, they're really, really tall. And in the south, I was so happy that I found some people shorter than me. All right, so yeah, it is lovely. All right, the food. They like spicy food in the north. Okay, in the south, they like it when it's sweet. All right, yeah, they like the sweet food. What else? They also like spicy. There's like an area in China that, you know, they love spicy food. What else? Do people there believe in God? Well, not all. Okay, some people believe in God. I met a lot of Christians there. Most of them are grandparents, and they were trying to, shall I say, to share also what they've learned to their grandchildren. But most people don't really believe in God there. They don't even go to church. Some go to church. We have the Chinese church there. There's also they also like churches for foreigners, because you know, if this is a foreign church, like pastors really coming from America or something, from different parts of the world, they cannot invite foreigners inside. I mean, you cannot invite Chinese inside. Same thing in the churches, the Chinese churches, you cannot invite foreigners there. See that? So they're very, very careful. And if you're a teacher, can you really, shall I say, teach or share the word of God to your students? That's another question, right? Well, it's not as easy as that, because you know, when you go there, before you even start working in that school, it's already a part of the contract that you cannot just talk about religion in the classroom. You see that? So if they find that out, you know, you're going to be reported. And if you're going to be reported, that could be a reason for you to be, you know, to shall I say, to lose your job. So be careful with that. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I'm very much aware about that one. So I don't really like talk about religion freely.
in my classes. Not unless they ask, or not unless we're talking about holidays. You know, when we talk about holidays, we kind of talk about the holiday in China and also the holidays in the West. So we kind of compare them. So what are the holidays in the West? What are the holidays in the US? Well, we can talk about Christmas. We can talk about New Year. And they have a lot of questions about Christmas. You so say all they know about Christmas is Santa Claus and etc., right? But when you talk about Jesus, that's a new thing for them. So there's a who is Jesus? See that? So they have this question, and I would say, I would explain, just explain. But I'm not trying to, shall I say, to Christianize them or something. Explain to them. And I said, if you have more questions, you can ask me some other time, but not in class. All right, so something like that. Or sometimes when you talk about religion, you don't forget to ask the students to also talk about their religion in that country. They can talk about Buddhism, and some can talk about Shintoism. They can talk about Christianity, something like that. And for the sake of discussion, you can talk about Christianity, but not to actually change whatever thinking they have in the classroom. All right, so how are you going to, shall I say, so how did you, because for me, I didn't just go there for work. I believe that it was actually a mission for me to get there too. I got some kind of a mission to get there, and not only that, that's to also share the word of God. Okay, so how did I do that? Like I share it, especially to the working people. A lot of my students started working, and whenever, when they were students, I don't really talk about that field. It's just that most of my students, whenever they have problems, they come to me and they share all the problems. They share to me all these things, their problem at home, their problem, with their relationships and all. So when I talk to them, they will say, hey, kind of, the advice they're getting is not the usual advice that they're getting from their friends or from their family. You see that? And so sometimes they get, they want to know more. And then after that, they realize that I'm a Christian, and they have a lot of questions. So they started asking me like, hey, Sally, are you a Christian? Yes, I am. Okay, and but I can only tell more about Christianity when we are just in a coffee shop or when we're having dinner together, something like that. So that's what we do. Or, while they were my students, I don't do that. But I do ask my other foreign friends, to share it to them. So what I did sometimes was like, if I have other foreign friends, especially from the US, my students also just want to practice their English. You see that? So sometimes we could meet together, and I would say, hey, you can talk to my students, and they can talk to them, and that's the time they share the word of God to them. See that? And I'm so happy, because there's always a solution for that if you really, really want to be used by God. And not only that, for me, I got this chance to actually share also the word of God to my boss, my big boss. Because my big boss at the time, you cannot share it, because these people are very successful. They're very, very rich, okay? So they don't need anything from you. They don't need anything from me. I'm just one of their teachers, right? So what happened was, every time, I'm just surprised that every time my boss has got a problem, she would just stay at our school, come visit our school, because our school is actually big. So sometimes she would just go to the elementary department and just wait for me. And I'm just surprised that she's waiting for me and just want to have a talk with me. So when we talk, something like that, usually when we talk, she has a problem. She would say, hey, Sally, would you like to have a coffee with me? And I, sure, let's go. All right, hey, Sally, would you like to have dinner with me? Oh, sure. All right, so I always try to have time for her. And at one time, because her mom died at the time, she was like, she was really, really sad. And she was telling me that, my mom is a Christian. I want to know your belief about Christianity, about death, as Christians. Like, what do you think will happen to the soul of the Christian? But my mom is a Christian, according to her. She said, I don't know. But, if your mom is really a Christian, that she believes in Jesus as her Lord and personal Savior, then I believe that she goes to heaven. And if one day you're going to do the same, then I believe that you're going to see each other again. Something like that. So she was very happy. She was crying. And then, they only become so vulnerable when they lose somebody. You see that? Because they have everything. But when they lose somebody, they become vulnerable and they just need somebody to talk to. And so I got the one. I still miss that boss very very much. Okay, she cares so much about me, and she always always very very helpful, and you know, it's just so nice to be working with them. You know, big bosses are really really nice people. I met a lot of nice Chinese people, very nice people. The only thing you need to do when you go to another country is just be nice. You don't apply there or your naughtiness. It doesn't work. Okay, if you are a different person here in the Philippines and you go there, you follow the rules that they follow. Okay, you be the, shall I say, be nice to them. Just like I said, if you are nice to them, they're nice to you. Okay, so yeah, my experiences in China is a lot more actually. It is not just something that I can talk about for 1 hour. A lot more. But well, I'm so glad, I'm thankful for this opportunity that I'd be able to share my travels and my experiences in China, and hope that you learn something from it. So when you're thinking to go to China someday, I believe that you know, you can apply those whatever you have heard from me. And if you do have a question, feel free to ask me, and I would be happy to answer it. So yeah, this is all for today. And yeah, before anything else, before I end this one, I just want to ask you to, you know, to leave a comment, to like this video that I just made. I know I'm a newbie, you know, I'm just starting, but I believe that by doing this one, a lot of people will also be helped. Okay, so please don't forget to like, to leave a comment below, or to share this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Alright, so again, thank you so much. 再见。